Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I have a special spooky ASMR for you guys where I'll be reading some spooky stories and you will hear some mirror tapping, heart buildup, whispers, behind you moments, some wind crackling, floor crackling, and whispers. So, just a warning, it's gonna get kind of spooky. So, if you're into that, stay tuned. Story 1: The Mirror Room 313. Hey, you've ever looked into a mirror and feel like it's looking back? When I first moved into room 313, the dorm was almost empty. It smelled like old books and lemon cleaners. The walls were thin. I could hear the girl next door typing late at night. And right across from my bed was this mirror. Tall, vintage frame. The kind that feels too fancy for a dorm. I didn't think much of it until I noticed the reflection didn't quite keep up. At first, it was just a blink that came a second too late. Or my hand brushing my hair, delayed by a breath. I thought maybe I was just tired, until it smiled back one night when I didn't. I froze, my reflection smiling, but my face was still. I tried to convince myself it was just my imagination. But the next morning, I found a handprint on the inside of the glass. It was the same size as mine, but pressed from the wrong side. Don't look away. That night, I covered the mirror with a sheet. I didn't sleep much. Every time I closed my eyes, I could hear this faint scratching, like nails tracing the wood on the frame. When I finally dared to look, the sheet was gone, and my reflection was standing closer than I was. I yelled, "Stop copying me!" It tilted its head slowly, too slowly, like it was learning. I ran out into the hallway, heart pounding. And when I came back the next morning, the mirror was cracked straight down the middle. No one else had a key. No one else has been inside. The janitor said no one lived in 313 for years. I paused. Let it sink in. He said the girl who lived there broke the mirror after she saw her reflection move on its own. They said if you look closely into the mirror now, you can still see her standing behind your shoulder, waiting for someone to notice her smile. Story 2. The candle that won't go out. It started with a storm. The kind that makes the power line hum and the sky turn that strange greenish black. I was driving home from work when the rain turned into a sheet of water. Couldn't see a thing ahead, so I pulled over down this dirt road. I've never noticed it before. At the end of it, there was a little cottage, light spilling from the windows, but just one candle burning in the dark. When the old woman opened the door, she didn't say a word, just stepped aside and nodded for me to come in. Inside smelled like cinnamon, something older. She handed me a towel and pointed to the table and said in this thin, trembling voice, "Sit, but don't touch the candle." The flame didn't move like normal fire. It pulsed like it was breathing. And every time I blinked, it looked just a little taller than before. I asked her, "Why keep it lit?" She said, "Because it remembers." I thought maybe she was senile. I thought maybe she's crazy. Until I noticed the photographs on the wall. Dozens of faces, all smiling. But the candle reflection in the glass was black. Hours passed, but the storm didn't stop. I fell asleep in the chair, and when I woke up, the room was cold. The woman was gone. Just me and that flickering flame. I told myself it was fine. Just a candle. Then I blew it out. At first, nothing. And then I heard it. A breath. Right next to me. The smell of smoke. And something sweet. And the candle relit itself. But this time, the flame was blue. And when I looked at the photos again, there was a new face on the wall. It was me, sitting in that chair, holding the candle, and I was smiling. They say if you find a candle that won't go out, it's not light that keeps it burning. It's memories. Someone still trapped in that flame. Story 3. The cornfield whispers. Out where the field stretches forever, You learn to tell the difference between the sound of the wind and something else. My parents' farmhouse sat right in the middle of a valley. Every window looked out on miles of corn. And at night, it moved like the ocean. When I was little, my dad used to say, if you hear whispers in the corn after night, don't go looking for it. I thought he was teasing until the night he didn't come back from the barn. The flashlight beam caught nothing but rows and rows of stock, each one swinging, even though the air was still. I called out, "Dad." The wind answered back, or at least I thought it was the wind, until I heard it say my name. Nova. I froze. It came deep in the field, too far to be an echo. I stepped between the roads. Leaves scratched my arms, dry and sharp. Every few feet the whisper came again, closer, closer. Then I saw light, a faint golden glow between the stalks, like a lantern swinging. But it wasn't a lantern. It was a face, white and still like a mask, staring at me from the darkness. I stumbled backwards, tipped over something soft. When I looked down, it was my dad's hat. And next to it, footsteps that wasn't his. Bare feet, pressed deep into the dirt, leading further into the field. I should have ran, but the whisper sounded like him this time. Help me, help me, help me, help me. So I followed, round after round until the corns opened to a circle. A clearing. I swear I had never been there before. And in the center, a scarecrow. Old tether coat, straw arms stretched wide, but the face was new, smooth, flesh, too human. It tilted its head forward to me. I dropped that flashlight. Light sprinted around the ground, and for just a second, I saw the glimpse of something on the scarecrow's wrist. My dad's watch. When I looked back, the scarecrow's head was facing forward again. The whispers was gone. Only corn moved, slow and heavy, as if it had been holding its breath. Sometimes when the wind blows across the field at night, I still hear him calling. And I make sure to lock the doors, because the scarecrows at the edge of the farm wears a different shirt every season. Story 4. The Clockmaker's Secret. There was something comforting about the clocks. The way they keep steady time when everything else felt uncertain. My grandfather used to say, as long as the clocks are ticking, the heart of the house still beats. After he passed away, I inherited his clock shop. A tiny, dusty little place on the edge of town. Dozens of clocks line the walls. Grandfather clocks, pocket watches, tiny ticking hearts and glass domes. But when I first walked in, every single one had stopped. All the hands pointed to the same time, 12:07, the exact moment he died. I started winding them one by one, trying to fill the air with that sound again. The click, the tick, the heartbeat of the room. But no matter how much I winded them, they stayed still until I reached the clock on his workbench. A small silver one. I'd never seen it before. Inside, instead of gears, there was a key. When I turned it, the clocks began to tick, slowly at first, then stronger. And with every tick, I felt the air in the room shift. Warmer, fuller, like something had just returned. Then I heard it, a soft humming. The same tune my grandfather used to hum while he worked. I looked up, and in the reflection of the glass case, he was standing beside me. Just for a second. You wounded the wrong clock. When I turned around, the shop was empty, but every clock on the walls had started ticking again, all in perfect sync. I tried to stop them, even took the batteries out of the modern ones, but the sound didn't stop. They just kept going. And then I noticed something else. Each clock's second hand moved differently. Some slower, some faster, but all of them were counting down. Not forward, down. The silver's clock face changed. Where numbers had been, there was now a date. Tomorrow. I tried to leave the shop, but the door wouldn't open. The sound of the ticking clocks grew louder, like hundreds of tiny hearts beating in panic. I covered my ears, but it was inside my head. Tick, 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 and then silence. passed out. When I woke up, it was morning. The clocks were still. The silver one was gone. And on the counter, someone had left a note in my grandfather's handwriting. Every clock needs a keeper. Now, every night at 12:07, one of the clocks starts ticking again. Just one. And I listened because I think it's counting down for me this time. Time doesn't heal anything. Sometimes it keeps what it loves the most. Story 5. The Girl in the Static. I used to host a midnight radio show. One of those stations you only find when you can't fall asleep. And the dial slipped between the static. It was called the Nightline. People called in to talk about dreams, secrets, sometimes confessions. Mostly truckers. Only people on the roads. Until she called. It was 2:13 a.m. and the storm outside was bad enough. That line power flickered, but the transmission was still on. And through the call, I heard a voice. I said, "Welcome to Nightline. Tell me your story." A girl's voice, soft, barely there. Can you hear me? I thought it was a prank. But her tone, it wasn't teasing. It sounded scared. I asked her name. She said, I don't remember, but I'm still here. Her voice came and went, like she was talking through a broken signal. I kept asking, where is she calling from? She said, it's dark here. I hear you every night. You're the only one who talks back. Please don't hang up. I'll call 911. I'll get you somewhere safe. I checked the caller ID. No number. Just a line of zeros. When I turned to my co-host, she looked pale. She mouthed, "There's no signal light." Meaning the line wasn't open. No one was on the phone. But I can hear her breathing. And on the phone, something faint behind her voice, like wind or whispering. I said, if you can hear me, describe where you are. She said, there's a red light and a window I can't see through. I think I'm under the station. I laughed nervously. The station doesn't have a basement. She said, The whole station went black. Just a faint glow of emergency lights, red, blinking, and from the speakers, her voice again echoed. I'm right behind the glass. When the power came back, everything was normal. The signal logged showed no calls, no audio files recorded. But when I played back the broadcast tapes later that morning, I heard her. Her whispers clear as day, and in the background, faint tapping, like someone knocking from inside the transmitter box. Now every night at 2:13, when the static comes through, I swear I hear her voice again. The same words, over and over. Please, don't hang up. Sometimes, when you speak into the dark, it speaks back. And sometimes, it wants to bring you to the dark. If you're still here, maybe you're one of us now. The ones who listened after midnight. Tell me, which story stayed with you? Was it the mirrors? The voices in the static? Leave your answers in the comments so I know who survived till the end. And if you want to hear more stories that whisper when the world is quiet, then don't just watch. Hit the bell, subscribe, and stay close. Because next time, it might be your story I tell.